Right off the bat, I really don't know much about Norse mythology. Hey guys, it's Jayblade2000, and I will be reviewing Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. Now, this is going to be my last review for a while, and I'll tell you why at the end of the video. But, this is Rick Riordan's new series in kind of his Percy Jackson world. He has Percy Jackson, the Kane Chronicles, and now Magnus Chase, and yes, actually is related to Annabeth, which I find is a nice tie-in. So, what's the story of this book? Well, ever since his mom died 2 years ago, Magnus has had to live on the streets. Until one day, some people come looking for him, and turns out that's one of his uncles and his cousin, Annabeth Chase. Hiding from them, he takes refuge in one of his other uncle's houses, and he finds out that his other uncle needs him for something on his 16th birthday. Apparently, his uncle says that he's related to a Norse god. A Norse god is his father, of all things, and that a sword hidden in the river is his birthright. Magnus isn't sure about any of this until he summons the sword from the water, and a fire giant springs out of nowhere, trying to claim the sword. Magnus reacts quickly, unfortunately, gets actually killed by the giant, and he wakes up in the halls of Valhalla, kind of a heaven for Vikings. But evil is afoot. Magnus must now stop Ragnarok, the Norse apocalypse, from happening. A giant wolf, Fenris, is set to be released from his bonds in about a week, and if I remember correctly, is destined to swallow the sun and fight the gods. Now, Magnus must use his new sword and new friends to go and rechain Fenris, or else the world will end. So, I've basically given you the rundown, and it's just filled with Rick Riordan's normal, crazy, weird stuff. I mean, the chapter names are just hilarious, and Magnus Chase's dry wit is absolutely great. So, how are the characters? Well, first starting with Magnus Chase. Magnus Chase is likable, not necessarily as likable as Percy, I don't think. Percy was a very good character, and I kind of liked him right away. Magnus Chase took a little bit getting used to, but after I got used to him, he is a very good character. And so I do really like him. And they do make Rick really does let you know that he was raised on, or was out on the streets. He does use his street smarts to gain advantages and help his friends through this quest that he goes on. And I think that is a great part of his character, that he is street smart, and so he's able to make deals with these gods and just do all these sorts of things that help them on their journey. Like I said, he also has some of that humor that, Carter and Sadie and Percy has in his books. And so that's always fun to read and get a laugh out of. He also has a good motivation that he wants to save his mother, and he wants to find out what actually happened the night of her death. And so you don't really, I'm not quite sure how to say this. It's a good motivation, and you do connect with Magnus. I don't think it's as much as Percy. Maybe that's just me. But I didn't quite feel it as much as Percy, and I don't really know why. But Magnus does actually have a moral compass. I was a little bit afraid of that, but he does. And that's a really good thing. So I am glad about that. His two friends, Blitz and Hearthstone, they're good characters. In fact, Hearthstone, I believe, is deaf, and it's really quite cool to see him write this kind of character. And you can do that in literature, something that you couldn't really do in a show or a movie, per se, that you can do in a book like this, because it's written. You have the words right there, and you can tell what he's saying, even though he's deaf. And that wouldn't necessarily work in a movie or TV show, but with literature, you can do that. And Hearthstone's a very good character. I really like that Hearthstone is integral to the whole little group becoming this kind of family and having this kind of camaraderie. Kind of the middle, kind of the end. And so I liked how they all kind of banded together. They still have their little differences, but they all do kind of band together for the big final battle. Though it takes some time to get them to where they do kind of trust each other and do work as a team. Next is a dwarf who is very fashionable. I didn't say he necessarily would be one of my favorite characters in the whole Percy Jackson universe, but he is a good character, and I think the not necessarily the dilemma he goes through, but the few chapters focusing on him, where he has to make these fashion clothes and win this contest, is very good, although he wasn't necessarily my favorite character. And next I want to talk about Sam. I think Sam is a very good character, especially considering her nationality, that she is Arab American. And I really like how Rick did that. And she's a great character, from her backstory to her parents. And I think she's one of my favorites in this book, because she is very likable, and Rick does some great things with her, because, not all Arabs are, bad. They're just people. And yes, as a Christian and Arab, we have differing beliefs, that sort of thing. But, they are people, even if they believe differently, even if they believe that, Christians are on the opposite end of the spectrum. They're still just people. And that's what Sam is. She seems like a genuine person in this book, and with hopes and dreams. And I absolutely love the arranged marriage, because every time you hear of an arranged marriage, it's always bad, or the girl doesn't love the guy she's engaged to, or whatever. It's always negative. But with this one, in this book, it's positive. And that is really refreshing to have in this book, that this kind of arranged marriage thing is actually good, is actually positive. She wants to do this. That's amazing. I mean, he could have just gone the normal route and that would have been okay, but for Rick to bump it up and make it positive is really good. I also like all the little myths, tying into modern day things, all the monsters, creatures. things they just have to go up against are really good, and they kind of escalate the stakes. And Rick, I like in his books, he doesn't really give the characters any time to rest, and you really feel like they're on this adventure, they're on this quest, because, you know, he makes it so that they're tired, and they're hungry, and they're dirty, and so when they finally do get rest, it's a relief. You know, you always think on these kinds of, like, adventure quest stories that, you know, oh, how fun would it be to actually go on a quest. While his books, you know, just take the more realistic side, where you don't always get to sleep, you don't always find a comfortable spot to stay, you run into danger after danger after danger, you're tired, you're hungry, you don't always think right, you have to make split-second decisions. That's always great. So, Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, I wouldn't necessarily start with it. And I think Percy Jackson is better than this one, but not by much. I really loved Magnus Chase, but I felt like Percy Jackson was a bit better. Maybe it's just because I am more familiar with Greek mythology, but don't get me wrong, Magnus Chase is a good book, but I think the Percy Jackson series is better. If you do want to get into Rick Riordan, if you do want to get into the Percy Jackson series, then, you know, start with Percy Jackson. But if you just see this in Walmart or a bookstore, go ahead and get it. It's good. It's a good adventure. It's great. Just like all the rest of his books are. So, I have kind of a little announcement. This is my last week to actually get videos up. I will be going away for 4 months for the second semester of my school, but I will be back. In the summer, working, so I will probably put out some videos there. I'm planning to get some more Battle Spirits cards, so I'll probably remake some decks. I'll probably have a review of the entirety of Ruby Volume 3, you know, that sort of thing. So I will be back, just not soon. So, again, thank you guys for watching my videos. I know they're not the best of quality, but I am trying. They're fun. Thank you so much for watching.